From New York City, it's Wendy Williams. Today, Wendy's Hot Talk panel, Siggy Fligger, Don Lemon, and Jane Velez-Mitchell are back to tackle today's biggest stories.
Love it. The streets are always talking, and we're always listening. Stay here, because up next, our Hot Talk panel is going to discuss the week's hottest stories. Welcome back. It's time to discuss the week's hottest topics in our latest edition of Hot Talk. Joining me, our old friend from HLN, Jane Velez-Mitchell. And relationship expert and contributing editor at Marie Claire Magazine, Siggy Flicker. And from the CNN newsroom, give it up for Don Lemon. How you doing?
How you doing, Wendy?
Okay, look, people are outraged over this new show on the Esquire channel. It's called Friday Night Tykes. Just take a look and then we'll discuss.
This is the Texas Youth Football Association, one of the elite football leagues for kids in America. And the 8- and 9-year-old rookie division in San Antonio features the best of the best.
Hey, give me that soft crap. There should be no reason why y'all don't make other teams cry. I could care less if they cry. I don't care how much pain you're in. You don't quit.
You guys forget that they are babies.
If that kid comes across, I want you to put it in his helmet. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
I don't care if you don't get up. Let's go. Yeah!
He said, I don't care if you don't get up. If you notice, they were cracking helmets. They don't even allow that in the real NFL. You know, so what do you think, Siggy?
I think that I'm not going to be one watching the show. And I want to ask these parents who are putting their 8- and 9-year-olds at risk for head concussions, brain injury. I mean, we've got the adults getting brain injuries and head concussions. Why would you put you want to be famous that bad to be on a reality show, to put your 8- and 9-year-old at risk? Shame on you.
Oh, you're right. You're right then for the parents. Why put your kids in football if you're going to be worried about? They're playing football. They're not playing tiddlywinks. They're out there. They're supposed to be hitting each other.
Listen, Don, these coaches have psychological problems. I tell them, look in the mirror, go to a gym, and go to a shrink, because you're working your issues out on these children.
That's why they're number one. It's because of the coaches that are telling them to do that. That's why those kids are number one in the league.
I'm not blaming the coaches. I'm blaming the parents, because as a parent, you can either put your kid on a team or take your kid off the team. This happens to be one of the show just started last week on January 14th. It's a Tuesday night at 9 o'clock on the Esquire channel. I watch it with my son to cringe over things that, first of all, he doesn't play football, and that's exactly the reason why, all the banging around and the concussions. I don't want him to play. No, I don't feel for the parents or the kids in this particular case, because there's a choice, and it's cringe-worthy TV, but I can't look away. I can't.
Yeah, but the people with the problem are the adults, and these guys are out of shape. Okay, they're out of shape and they're angry, and they're telling these kids.
But it's not the coach's fault. It's the parents.
I get so tired of people coddling kids. I understand it's the parents who put them in there. But if you're going to put them in there, you put them in there to play, not to be wussies.
But what playing? Playing is a balance.
Playing is one thing.
I want you to pound that helmet, and I don't want that kid getting up.
Dance mom
he said
worse than that. That dance mom is worse than that.
And you know what?
At least those kids can go stressing after the girls can't do it because they won't be able to fit in their uniforms. They can go stress eat afterwards at least.
I just feel like this is not a normal football team. This is the one that produces people that play in the NFL. These kids are too young to be banging helmets and being talked to like that and sweating, but I can't not watch this show.
I'd say more of it.
So good. All right, speaking of football, the Seattle Seahawks cornerback, Richard Sherman. You know a bit about this story. You know, he made headlines last week when he went crazy in a post-game interview. Right after the game, he took to Twitter, or people took to Twitter and called him everything in the book, including a thug, which he had an issue with being called a thug. Just take a look.
The only reason it bothers me is because it seems like it's the accepted way of calling somebody the N-word nowadays. You know, it's like everybody else said the N-word, and then they say thug, and they're like, oh, that's fine. And that's where it's kind of, you know, it kind of takes me aback, and it's kind of disappointing because they know what's the definition of a thug, really.
You know what? This guy graduated at the top of his class from Stanford. He was raised in Compton. He was raised from the ashes, I guess, you know, whatever. He knows what a real thug is, and I guess that's why he takes issue with it. But I don't think that the word thug is the new word for an N-word. If you're going to call somebody the N-word, you're just going to call it. Especially, you know, when you can be an internet gangster and say what you want. What, Don?
I think I got to jump in here. I think for him, he is absolutely right. I think that's what people are calling him, because here's why I say it. Hockey players clobber each other. They kill each other. There's blood everywhere. You never hear anyone calling a hockey player a thug. John McEnroe on the court every single match would get in the ref's face and curse the ref out. And guess what? His managers would tell him, do it over again because you're making a name for himself. Right. Nobody ever called him a thug. And I think the people who are calling him a thug, in essence, are calling him the N-word without saying the N-word.
Wait, Jane, what? Look, it is a code word. It is a code word. The word thug was used hundreds of times after he had his little outburst, and those were used by commentators directed at him. He didn't hit anybody, he didn't kick anybody in the you-know-what. But I will say this, why are you playing the victim, dude, when you're going to the Super Bowl?
But I, as a white woman, do not affiliate the word thug with the N-word.
Me neither. Tony Soprano is a thug.
Lots of people use thug. Lots of ethnicities use thug. Right. But I think in his particular case, that's what people are calling him. Because they called him worse things than a thug. They called him the N-word. They called him monkey. They called him all sorts of things. Because the guy hopped up on adrenaline right after he made the biggest play of the game against his arch nemesis. He's going to the Super Bowl, and you stick a camera in his face, and he's going to go, yeah, I'm going to kick your butt. Don't ever... That's what do you expect him to do?
Because when Aaron Andrews interviewed him, he was a scary person going, you don't do that. You don't.
Scary.
I don't know what
he was not scary.
His actions were scary, and here's why. A couple of months before, the person who he was mad at was snubbed him, and it was a high. He was playing the game. The adrenaline was high. He was in the right. Richard Sherman didn't do anything wrong, but people looked at the TV and went, why is this dude freaking out?
I still don't equate thug as the N-word. I mean, there's like listen to this. You know, he might not like thug, but I don't like baby mama. Right. You know, you don't call a woman a baby mama. When you think of a baby mama, it connotates something that, to me, is you're trying to say something negative.
But I say baby daddy is okay.
No, baby daddy is not okay either.
Listen to this. The same people who are calling him thug call hockey players who do worse behavior enforcers. So you need to think about what you're saying and why you're saying that.
Was that a read?
No.
That's why I love the Hot Talk panel, and let's talk about Juan Pablo, the star of The Bachelor. All right, he made news this week when he made an anti-gay comment when asked if there should be a gay bachelor, and we talked about it on Hot Topics. He wasn't suspended by ABC, which prompted people to ask, why does The Bachelor get a pass, but Duck Dynasty's Phil Robertson didn't? He was suspended also. Although, how can you suspend somebody for a couple of episodes when the show is not even on right now? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So I don't think that the suspension was really anything much.
Let me say this. As a Latina, I was thrilled. Wow, the first Latino bachelor, yay! But as a lesbian, I was like, what the hell? Dude, and not only that, because I speak Spanish, he says, well, I had a language problem with the word pervert. You know, in Spanish, perverted is pervertido. Hello?
And here's this guy who's talking about this, and he's on a show where he's being paid to be with women. I mean, basically, it's like, you know, pimps and hookers. He's getting paid, and he has the nerve to judge gay people. I took more offense to him because he's a young guy, and he should know better than I did.
That's what I said. I think that they gave Phil a pass, or people gave Phil kind of a pass, because Phil is an older man. He's from the South. I love you people, but in the South, but you know, there's like a stereotype, that little redneck thing, you know, thing. He lives in a swamp, and he's very, very religious. So it's not shocking to hear him say something like that, while it doesn't make him necessarily very likable, Phil, you know.
Well, but I was shocked to hear him equate gay sex with animals, and I condemn it. Shame on you. I don't care what kind of beard you have.
But getting back, I think
we're living in the United States of America, and everybody's entitled to their own opinion.
No, not that.
Hold on. However, his opinion, in my opinion, is ignorant. You can't help somebody if they're ignorant. He's discriminating against sex, religion, race, sexual orientation. He's an ignorant man, and by the way, he is suffering right now.
So you have freedom to say whatever you want, and you have freedom to respond to that. And as my dad used to say, freedom isn't shouting fire in a crowded movie theater.
And he did not get suspended. suspended because the show is already taped. So what are they going to do?
Yeah, we're talking about The Bachelor. And also, he didn't get suspended because The Bachelor is a cash cow for ABC, and unfortunately, money drives business.
But also, we're not talking about it because he's hot. Good-looking people and hot people get away with a lot of things that ugly people don't. I'm just saying.
He's getting away with it, and he should have been fined.
A lot of the games are like, well,
up
he's
next,
kind of
everybody,
hot.
President Obama made some controversial comments about weed. We'll talk about it next. I got the Hot Talk panel here. Okay, so President Obama shocked some people when he talked about the subject of legalizing marijuana. He told a reporter that smoking pot is no more dangerous than drinking alcohol.
Yay!
Siggy?
Yeah.
I mean, this is the first time that I agree with my president. Thank you.
The first time?
6 of one, half a dozen of another. What's the difference?
Yes.
Somebody's smoking pot, they shouldn't be behind the wheel endangering their lives or the lives of another. If somebody's drunk, they should. It's a state. What are we going to dissect? Which one is more dangerous? Who cares? They're both bad.
People smoking pot don't want to get behind the wheel anyway. They just want to sit on the couch and eat a cheeseburger. Come on, don't you think? And I think the president is actually right. He didn't condone smoking pot, even though he has admitted smoking pot in his youth. He didn't condone it. He said, I wouldn't tell my kids to do it, but it's no more dangerous for you than alcohol. And the studies show that's true as well.
First of all, I think we got to give him props for admitting he smoked pot, because we know that pretty much everybody has smoked pot. Anybody here who hasn't smoked pot, please raise your hand. Oh, there's there's a couple of people. But
Oh, my God.
Really, I will say
Good
this.
one.
I'm a recovering alcoholic, and I'm happy to say I'm 18 years sober, hopefully 19 by April. And I know for a fact that alcohol is dangerous.
Way more dangerous than pot.
Yes,
Thank you,
yes.
okay?
Wait.
You can get turned up and out on alcohol.
Yes.
Weed only takes you to a certain point, and then you just level off. You keep smoking the same thing. But here's my issue. I don't want to hear this coming out of the president's mouth. This is the same man who was doing the Dougie at the White House. He smokes weed, he does the Dougie.
But I like to know that my president is a normal person, that he's tried those things. So at least if he is forming some sort of opinion about policy, he
smoked bad
knows.
weed if he's equating it with the turn up of alcohol.
No,
Alcohol
he's
is
saying
way
it's
worse.
no worse for you than alcohol. That's what he's saying. And I think
alcohol's
the
way
studies
worse.
show that.
Yeah,
And if you ask anyone, 70% of people or more believe that alcohol is worse for you, and 55% of the American public believe that marijuana should be legalized recreationally.
And the most important thing is that they're arresting the poor minority kids for smoking pot, and the rich potheads don't get arrested. We're criminalizing an entire segment of our population for doing what other people do.
So if we just legalize it and take it all away.
Yeah.
All right, I just wanted to get this story in. There's this restaurant owner in Shandong province, in the Shandong province of China, and he was asked to remove 2 naked 50-foot statues of Buddha off the roof of his restaurants because the locals are offended. Now look at this picture, and the question to my panel is, would you eat at this restaurant? All right, can I just say, and then I'm going to come to you, Jane. I would eat at this restaurant. I would eat here, and I'm going to tell you why. Because first of all, I didn't find anything distasteful. I find that humorous. And if a restaurant owner is going to spend that much money on outside artwork, then you could only imagine that the dining area is gorgeous and that they have the best chef in town. I would eat there, and I'm not offended. Siggy?
I would definitely do takeout. That's all I'm saying. Takeout.
From that restaurant?
Yeah, I'm not staying around. I'm doing takeout.
This was not in the United States of America. Come on, Buddha is a religion followed by over 300 million people. It's to awaken. You want to awaken me? Show me a picture of Buddha. I don't want to see the crack of his butt with the cellulite and the back fat.
Come on, I would eat there because the food is really good. Anything that gives you an ass that big, the food has to be really good.
Be that good.
And he's lucky he's not in L.A. because he would have no customers, because no one wants a badonk like that out in L.A.
Thank you, panelists. For more information on them, you can go to wendyshow.com. Up next, it's time for Ask Wendy. Funny.